One of the methods I want to talk about this week in terms of erasure is how to make the appearance that something in your image has been erased, but actually to do it non-destructively. And what we're going to be looking at this week will be using the layer masks, which you'll find the icon for in the bottom of your layers panel. I'm going to just disable this mask that I have already set up, and so you can see what this original image was. So let's go through the steps. I have my history panel open, and I'm going to step back and show you. So what I did was make a general selection of the bear, and then I went into the quick mask mode, and we talked about that last week, and you can just see all the different steps going through the quick mask mode to touch up my selection. And then I left the quick mask mode and used the polygonal to continue to touch up my selection and to exclude the little clips up here. Okay, so at this point, this is all very familiar to you. You just simply make a selection of the area that you want to make it look like it has been removed, that it is erased. And now you're going to go over to your layers panel, and you're going to click on that icon on the bottom that says add a mask. So great, I added a mask, but I kind of got the opposite effect. I actually erased everything else, and I only kept what was in my selection. So what I'm going to do now is double click on this little icon. Also, when I clicked on that, I got what is called my mask here, my layer mask. My layer mask, if I alt click on my layer mask, you can see what is my mask. So everything that was outside my selection turned black, and everything inside my selection turned white. And so what's in the black is actually erasing my background. So I need to invert that. I can touch up my mask. I can refine the edges of my mask just like I did last week with the refined edges of my selection. I'm going to double click my mask, and I get a pop-up window. And some of these things look familiar, like the feather. The density is my opacity. I also have a button to invert. And I've now inverted my selection, which is great. So now I'm hiding through the layer mask what I have selected, and I'm revealing everything else. I also have the mask edge option here, which is very similar to the refine edge option. There you see the same window. I can smooth out my edges. I could expand my selection by shifting the edge, or I could go in the opposite direction. I could add a slight feather. So everything just exactly like we did last week. And I'm going to click OK. So now the last step is to put a layer underneath, and whatever is on that layer underneath is what's going to show up through what right now we see as the checkerboard, which represents transparency. So I'm going to create a new layer and put it below my layer mask, and I'm going to fill it with white. So I have white here, and let's say I did have red. I could just easily switch by clicking on that little icon. If I had two different colors here and I want to quickly get to black and white, I click on those icons, and then I can reverse. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Alt Backspace to fill that layer, all the transparency in that layer, with white. So the way I think of a layer mask is when I'm looking at the mask, the part that's black is almost like it's burning through, and that's revealing what's on the layer underneath. Just to kind of show you another example to make it even clearer, let's say I make that layer red, and now you're going to see red going through the area that was selected. So I start out with a selection of the part I want to erase. I turn it into a layer mask, and then I edit my layer mask and I invert it, and then I can refine the edge and smooth it. I create another blank layer on the bottom, and I fill it with whatever color I want the area that looks like it's been erased to be erased. And now the beauty of it is it's absolutely non-destructive. I could, if I right click on it, I could temporarily disable my layer mask so you don't see it, but I didn't get rid of it. I could also delete it. And now I'm going to right click and enable it again. So working with this kind of mask allows me to have a lot of flexibility in my image and to be able to make parts look like they've been erased when they're actually still there, so it's completely non-destructive.